What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Rich Talks BS. I'm your host, Rich. Sports news this week, pretty much the same thing's gonna be every week, especially in the NFL. It's the off season. I guess official season is about to start soon. Right now, in the NFL, we're dealing with franchise tags. Right now, it's from February 23rd through March the 9th. Teams are, allowed to franchise tag a player on their team, that they're waiting to get a long-term contract going with, or, kind of see how things are going to fall for the season for that player. One name that is always thrown up, or that's been thrown up in there for the franchise tag, is Dak. Are the Cowboys going to put Dak on a second consecutive franchise tag? It's already going to cost them, over 30. They do that, he's gonna make over 70 mil, over the last 2 years. And that tag, the tag for this year is at 37.7. Next season, if they do it again, it's gonna be at 52. They gotta get a deal going. If Dak wants 3 years, give him 3 years. You're trying to get him for 4, you're trying to get him for 5. Right now, it's giving Dak what he wants to a certain point. He wants 40 mil a year. Give him the 40 mil a year. He's worth it. He puts in the work. He's a workhorse. He's good. More than good. He's great. And he's the leader for this team. He's the leader for this Cowboys team. He's going to lead them into onto the field, into the war, win the battles for you. And he's going to get you a Super Bowl. Pay him. He wants 3 years. Give him the 3 years. Makes the NFC Championship game. Okay, that's the first step. Maybe he makes it again for the second consecutive year, and then the third year he makes the Super Bowl. Out of those 3 years, if he makes the Super Bowl one of those years, extend him again. Offer him another extension. You want Dak to stay in Dallas. You want Dak to forever be a Cowboy. Do what you gotta do. He's the best quarterback for this team. He's the best quarterback for these weapons. This is who you got to keep. This is who you got to work to get onto the field for you this coming up season. Another name out there is Allen Robinson. There's been talks with Allen Robinson, and he could be a tag and trade. He's not going to be in Chicago long. So you kind of don't want him. You don't want to get rid of him for nothing. He's a great player. He's a great receiver. Just didn't fit with this scheme in Chicago. And like I said, you don't want to lose him for nothing. So tag him, trade him, get get your money's worth out of him. Godwin is another one that could be tagged coming up. Godwin is a free agent. Young guy, receiver, great receiver, one of Brady's favorite targets. You want him to stay in Tampa. So, franchise him, put the franchise tag on him, and work on a long-term deal later on. Another one that's in the talks is Kenny Galladay. He's a great receiver, young receiver. He could be on a tag and trade. His tag is worth 16 mil. He's going to be a free agent next season. He's just, the way Goff is. I don't think Goff is the quarterback for Galladay. So, again, another one in that Allen Robinson situation. You don't want to lose him for nothing. You want to get something out of him. So, getting the trade. And putting him on the tag, getting the trade for him, get your money's worth out of him. He's gonna be good where he goes. Certain teams, depends on who they talk to, who they try to get a trade with. Galladay is good. He's gonna be a great receiver. He's a receiver that you build a team around, and we're gonna see where he goes and where he ends up, which would be very interesting to see. Going into the NBA news, Timberwolves dismissed Ryan Saunders a couple of days ago, and then hired Toronto's assistant coach Chris Finch the next day. Saunders has been, he's the son of Flip Saunders, longtime Timberwolves coach. So he's, grew up around that atmosphere, that environment. It's kind of, kind of sad to see him go, I guess. But you got to turn that program around. You got to win. You weren't doing that, so it was time to go. It's a business at the end of the day, so business had to be done. So that's just how it goes. So a lot of the talks around the league, around the league, or towards the league in different sports conversations is the Nets. The Nets are looking good. Their defense is actually stepping up. Their offense, of course, is on paper one of the best, if not the best, offenses out there. They're looking better. They're playing together better. When KD comes back, they're just gonna be, they're gonna keep the rhythm going. They're gonna keep everything going. They're gonna make themselves better. So, and that's starting to help with the defense stepping up at the same time. It's they need that defensive presence. They need someone who's gonna step up when they need it, and everyone will follow. If they can find that one player, then they're gonna be good. So are the Nets best in the league overall, or are they just the best now? You got the Utah Jazz out there who has the best record in the league. They're playing, great all around ball. Offense, defense. They're dominating on all aspects. They're dominating in every category, dominating every team that they've been coming across, this season so far. Only losing 6, and same thing. Are they the best in the league, or are they just best now? I would say the Jazz are the best team in the league. The Nets is close, close to. Some people might argue that. Some people, might, have it the other way around. So I was watching the Mavs Celtics game. All-Star, roster's been released. The reserves been released. A lot of people, looking at snubs, especially for the starters. And one was Luka over Dame. Dame is having, I guess, a better season number-wise, but Luka is having a better season, I guess you could say, overall. Luka is very good this year. He's looking better than he did last year. At times, it kind of looks like he's falling apart, but I mean, he's young. So he's going to feel like that. He's going to have those moments where he feels like he's not doing enough for the team. But after that, he doesn't stick in that mind frame long, and then he's just going to keep getting better and better and do what he needs to do for his team. So watching that game also made me think about, the starters for the All-Star game, Luka over Dame. But who takes the last shot? Who would you have taken the last shot of the game, Luka or Dame? The way Luka has been looking, he's starting to be seen as the option to take the last shot. He has the ability to take the last shot of the game and score. And that's what he did against the Celtics. And that was actually the last 2 threes of the game that he knocked down. And, both of them were to go ahead, and the last 3 left 0.1 second left on the clock. And it's been shown in all kind of replays where that last shot of that game looked just like, the shot from the bubble in the playoffs. And Dame is, trustworthy of hitting the last shot. I think he's past couple seasons he's hit the most game winning shots, or there's a time frame there that's been mentioned where Dame's hit the most game winning shots or the go ahead shots. So he looks, more like the option to go to for that last shot. But for me personally, I would go with Luka. Luka is going to do what he needs to do. It's kind of hard to look at anyone else on this Mavs team to take that last shot. Maybe Porzingis, but more, I wouldn't choose that. This is a Luka thing. And with Dame, when CJ McCollum is healthy and comes back, then CJ McCollum will become that second option. With the Blazers, they have two options on taking the last shot. With the Mavs, they only have one option. So, but Luka is that one option, and that's like a unanimous choice for him to take that last shot. Luka had 31 points and 10 boards, 8 assists in that game against the Celtics. The same night, Dame, didn't really look that good. But he had 25 points, 7 boards, 13 assists against the Nuggets. And it's just, who can, perform better at clutch time. And, so far, Luka is looking like that player this year. Sticking with the All-Star, talking about the All-Star game, AD is being replaced by Devin Booker. Devin Booker is one of those that I think was a snub. Instead of Zion, it should have been Devin Booker. Zion's been having a good year, but Booker's been having a better year. And to lift this Suns team, to newer heights, and to make this Suns team, making the Suns team a good team offensively, defensively, and it's, it's showing. But, now Devin Booker is in because AD can't play, of course, of the calf injury. So now we have that. And, there's other snubs, for the reserves, like Trae Young, Sabonis, Tobias Harris, a few more players, in that aspect, in that area. And, maybe the roster should be extended, by 2. Because then there would be, a little bit more room to put in those, who is a little bit harder to decide if they should be a reserve. But, the All-Star game is going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be an okay game. We'll see who the team captains pick to be on their team, with LeBron and KD. So we'll see when that roster drops. The second half of the season has been released for the NBA also. So the play-in tournament is going to be May 18th through the 21st, with the playoffs starting on Saturday, May 22nd. The play-in tournament is going to determine the 7 and 8 seeds. So that's going to be the 7 through the 10 that's going to play each other. So they're going to play each other and then play another play in the next round to actually fit into the 7th and 8th seed. So when that second half of the season released, also there's a lot of games on TNT. Lakers and Nets is going to have the most televised games, and I think I read correctly that the Cavs are not going to have any nationally televised games. So Lakers and Nets have the most, and the second half of the season they're expecting to play the rest of the games, and it will be a complete 72 game season. It's there's still, a few more games that's been postponed. There's been, teams coming back slowly, and we're going to see, how this is going to work out, especially with making up those games and see if everyone is actually going to play a whole 72 game season. It's going to be very hard, but I believe it's going to happen. I believe they can do it. So, the year is already starting to, I guess, get a little bit better, especially compared to the other sports out there like hockey. You know, they've been missing a lot of games also, and we'll see how the MLB, starts everything off, especially with the season coming around. Spring training is going on right now. Pitchers and catchers are out, and it's they got their plans in place, and we're gonna see how well it works. So also earlier this week was the bad car accident with Tiger Woods. You know, when everyone heard and saw the pictures of Tiger Woods in this single car accident and looking at his truck, the way it looked, and knowing the information that it flipped, it was kind of like putting us back into that Kobe mode again, and that Kobe mood. And he didn't, he's still living. It was just leg injury, but it was a pretty bad leg injury too. The way they've been talking about it, and the surgeries that he had, and the different ruptures and fractures, and all this other stuff, and all these other procedures and the surgeries that they've done on Tiger. Hopefully he'll just be able to walk again. No one's thinking about him, making the Masters this year in April, or how long is he gonna be out, or is he even gonna return to golf? More importantly, is he going to be able to walk? Will he be able to function as he did, before the accident? The procedures that went into the surgery are, kind of complicated. It's long, and it's a very deep process. So he's recovering. They say he was recovering. He's talking. He's communicating. He's doing better. So hopefully prayers out to Tiger and his family. Speedy recovery. Get well soon. And we hope to see you back out there. Just out there in life in general, period. Well, that's all the BS I have for this episode. Until next time.